Hey guys, it's me again, and I'm doing another vlog thing. Got a new creative project, and for this one, what we have to do is we have to understand what our ideologies are, create a core ideology and call it something, and then from there we have to take that ideology and then design it into something like an automotive vehicle. We can choose between a car, plane, train, or something to do with fashion. We have to come up with our own clothing line, or a building that has to be in a public space that anybody can go and visit, or a currency. So pretty excited about this project. Read about it in the holidays before we even got the brief and started coming up with ideas. But then I realized how tough it actually was, taking all different ideologies and trying to pack it into one thing and then design something around that. Like if you say to me, just design a car that just comes right into my head, then I'll design something and be like, hey, cool, here's a really random car design or whatever. But to actually take your ideology and then design something around that, I actually found to be really, really tough. So I don't have a really good rational way of explaining things on paper, and so that's why I'm doing this vlog, because I think I'll have the best chance of explaining to you verbally, like I'm doing now, what I did for the project instead of actually writing it out. So I unpacked my ideologies, and I did that in my written document, which you'll see there. It's in my process book, and I've printed it and handed it in. But I looked at my family ideologies, my friends' ideologies, my religious ideologies, and then some of the things that have a more major impact on me, like music and literature. And these I found that were going to make up my core ideology, which I called smoke and mirrors. And what it really basically comes down to is that what you see is what you get with me, but if it makes sense, not all the time. So when I do things, like I'll do a presentation in college, and I'll do really well, and I'll get the lecturer's attention, and I'll get everybody's attention in the room, and I can hold their attention, and I can speak confidently on what I'm doing. But I'm not actually a really confident person. So whenever people come up to me and say, Luke, how did you do that? You present so well, or how did you do that with this project, or how did you do whatever? I always just smile and say, smoke and mirrors. And that's literally what it is. Sometimes I put up a front or this illusion, keeping with the smoke and mirrors theme, to actually be able to do what I do. And so I wanted to try and incorporate that into my thing that I was going to create. So originally I started off looking at fashion, and I thought, okay, cool, I can do fashion, because at one stage when I was younger, I was interested in creating my own fashion line, and I've experimented with creating my own t-shirts and things like that in my spare time. And so I looked at that and I thought, I don't actually have the know-how, and I'm not that interested in fashion to be able to just design a fashion line and be like, wow, look at this thing, it's got new technology and it's got this and that. So I thought, okay, fashion line out, I'm struggling to create this, I'm not going to be able to do it. Then it came down to actually buildings and cars, because I can come up with a very good idea for a building, but I couldn't actually put it down onto paper or draw it out. And that's where I have this big problem. That's why I'm doing this vlog. Whereas during junior school and high school, I drew cars all the time. I mean, that's pretty much how I taught myself how to draw, between drawing Pokemons, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, cars, and cars. Yeah, that's how I taught myself how to draw. So I can draw a car for you, no problem, and just say, okay, there's a really cool design. But actually taking your ideology that we've created and then designing something around it, I found was really tough. So it fell between, like, say, building and car. For the building, I had quite a few ideas. They were all really revolving around doing some kind of high-tech library where people could go and actually chill with friends, but study at the same time if they want to. So to have this complete divide, but it would be so comfortable and not invasive, that's the wrong word, but inviting. There we go. It was something with an I. It would be so inviting that people would want to be part of it on the inside. And so that's how I was going to create. But it would be very modern, very chic, very clean on the inside, and stylish colors. It would be very warm, and it would be very gentle and soft. So I had all these crazy ideas, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to draw them or create them on paper for a building, but then why don't I use that same thinking for my car? Because part of my ideology that I haven't said is that we're never alone. That comes down to religion, and that everything that happens for a reason. And what I mean by that is we don't have a set determined path. but sometimes obstacles are put in our way to help us overcome things or protect us from other things. And I know from personal experience that I've had obstacles put in my way, and at times I'm like, why is this happening? What is going on? But they've actually saved me in the long run from either a lot of pain or a lot of embarrassment and other things. So I'm a firm believer in that. Everything happens for a reason. Then also, knowledge is power, and I love just researching random things. Like, if there's something that catches my eye or catches my interest, I'm going to go home and I'm going to research it, find out about it. And whether it's random or important, it's a fact, and it's something that can be stored away and used at a later period. And that's what I just find interesting and fun. And I do it in my spare time, besides reading books and things, which also I enjoy because it expands your vocabulary and just keeps your brain going. And so I enjoy that kind of stuff. Then on top of that, music. Music is very important because it's part of everything I do in my day-to-day life. Without music, I would struggle. I find a lot of meaning in music and the music lyrics in particular. And so I wanted to try encapsulate all of that in the Smoke and Mirrors ideology that I've created, which I think I've done well and explained better in my actual written document for that. But then taking this and put it into my car. So what I did is I've got my printed, very well printed image here. And this is, I don't know if you can see it. I think you can see it. This is my printed image of my car that I actually created, the exterior. So you can't see very well, but you'll see when you see it up close. It's actually got very bluish grey colors to it on the outside, and it's very rigid and rough looking and heavy on the outside. And the whole point of this is, actually when I game, I always choose the heaviest vehicle because I think it always best represents me, because I'm a heavy guy. So I always take something that's heavy, can take a lot of hits and still come through on the other side. So that was part of why I did a vehicle so big and so bulky like that. But on top of that, the color, yes, it's blue and grey, and it's quite a dark color, which links in very well with the Smoke and Mirrors. But on top of that, I've been told by my kinesiologist when I asked her that blue is actually the color I draw strength from. So if you see me in day-to-day life, I actually wear a lot of blue because it helps me with my confidence, helps me draw strength, and I do actually feel better when I'm in a nice, comfortable blue, not like one of these neon vibrant blues or one of these really dark blues. But the color that I've chosen here I really do like, and so I think best represents me there, and how on the outside I'm trying to show this whole confident outlook, but and I'm super calm, which is another color that can be associated with blue and the lighter blues there, showing peacefulness and calm, which I am generally, but it's not always how I feel internally. So externally, that's how I wanted to showcase. And okay, arm's getting very tired, and I think you've seen it. But the car itself is very rigid and very edgy. And sometimes when people meet me, I can be prickly and a bit sharp and edgy at times. And it's not how I am as a person. It's just because I'm getting to know you. And sometimes I can appear that way because I'm being very serious depending on the situation I'm in. Like at college, I'm a very serious person because I'm there to work. I'm there to achieve a certain goal, and that's it. Whereas if you see me outside of college, generally I'm actually very different. I'm very lighthearted. I'm playful. I mess around. I get my friends into trouble. They get me into trouble. I'm not the same person that I'm in college. In college, I'm there to achieve a certain goal, and so I work hard. And so a lot of people that know me, they know that when I'm focused and I'm in the zone, I have this whole rigid demeanor. And I wanted to incorporate that as well, as how I am very rigid, though, in that I won't compromise my core values and my ideologies that make up those core values. No matter what situation I'm in, I'm always going to be the same and stick to those. So I think that comes through very strong there and represents well. Then there's that flash of red. I can show it to you again. Just on the top, there's the flash of red over there, and that just shows that I'm actually a warm person generally, and you'll see that more on the inside. But also that I am very passionate about things that I do. So when I start working on something, I give it my all. I do not quit, and I will do the best that I can to make sure that it is the best outcome for whatever it is I'm doing. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I am very passionate about things that I get involved in and do. And so I give everything that I have to it. I don't hold back, and I don't try to sabotage things because I'm unhappy with somebody or something like that. Even though I will still give everything to it and try and make sure that whatever it is that I'm doing is a complete and total success. So that is that. Then on top of that, I am quite a guarded person at times, depending on situations that I'm in, and so that's why I wanted to go with that whole metal, rough feel and almost dangerous looking, and so that's why I've gone with that. And then I think that's pretty much the exterior covered. I wanted to do more of a modern car, so I originally looked at space vehicles and things from Guardians of the Galaxy, and my two favorite Batman vehicles, the one from Batman vs Superman, and then my all-time favorite, the Tumbler from the previous Batman movies with Christian Bale. So I used those as ideas to create this, and then also the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's Peter Quill's ship. Guardians of the Galaxy is a huge influence for me nowadays. I mean, bar the fact that it has some of the best music that any movie that I've got has. I mean, the great 60s, 70s, 80s tracks. I mean, geez, those were brilliant. And then also just the whole style of the movie where it's quirky and it's comical, but it's serious and it's action all at the same time. For me, that just works, and that's how I am. So I use those as inspiration to create the image that I did. So it's sort of futuristic in the sense that it's actually powered by magnets. And because I believe that eventually cars, they will be able to be powered by some kind of biofuel, electricity, something solar power, something like that. But where we'll also have magnetism heavily involved. And so that's what I tried to create inside the wheels and the wheels themselves. I believe that we'll have magnets in them to help with resistance and to actually power the cars. And then on top of that, on the roads, like we've got the railway, the bullet trains that are powered by magnets and things as well. To propel them forward, we'll have roads that are also magnetized as well. So it'll help the cars travel. Magnetism also links with low resistance and things like that, and I wanted to incorporate that with mine. Often with things, I won't compromise my values, but I will come to a compromise on a situation for the betterment of those around me, and I won't actually create a huge fight just to get something done my way. I will compromise on things and take sometimes a path of least resistance in order for a greater gain than just to argue for the sake of arguing to prove a point. And so I'd rather say, beg to differ or something like that. So that's my exterior. It's very rough, but at the same time, that's sometimes how people perceive me. But on the inside, which I've got here, I'm very different. The inside is actually very warm and very comforting, and helps with the seeking of knowledge and just kind of, don't want to sound dodge, but kind of pleasure. And so what I wanted to create with the interior is, once again, the chairs are bucket chairs covered with leather and suede, and the colors there are actually the colors of my room. Excuse the mess, but I've actually got very natural colored walls, and then at my desk over here, I've got a red wall. And everybody who comes into my room, and I painted all this, did this all myself, everybody always says it's the most calm and comfortable and relaxed room. It's the most calm, comfortable, and relaxed room. Sorry, my laptop spazzed out there. That's in the house. I mean, our house is a lovely flow and everything, but people love coming into my room because it's so calm and tranquil and peaceful. And that's what I wanted to try showcase in the interior. And so I've got the red and the kind of creamy color for the seats, because to me that is peaceful and comfortable and part of my comfort zone. So I wanted to showcase that. But then I've got the technology of the silver and the chrome and the color there, of how I'm always searching for new information, and through technology I'm trying to expand my knowledge base. So that's what I wanted to do. And then with what these are on the headpieces is actually giant sunglasses for people's heads, not to block out things, but rather to help people see things more clearly. And what these sunglasses do as well is, depending who's driving and who's not, you can research information on them, you can watch stuff on them, it can link to anything around. They connect to the Wi-Fi, so you can research and do whatever you want to on these glasses. If you want to read an ebook or read a comic or something, you can. You want to catch up on your latest series, watch a movie, anything like that, because that's how I am. I'm always trying to expand my knowledge base, have fun, and so that's what this whole interior is supposed to be. It's supposed to just be fun and playful in a really comfortable area where you can be in the presence of other people but not be distracted by them at the same time, or be comfortable with them, or just share things around in this space. So it's supposed to be a lot of fun. Where, for example, generally in a car, whoever's sitting at the front is the one who's driving. Now, what I've done is these seats are actually hovering, because then it's gentle and it's peaceful and it's calm. Once again, via magnets. Now, these could then interchange and swap. And so anybody in the car can actually take over and start driving and have fun. And then I've created the steering wheel. I've got my iPod in there, or any kind of music device. To me, the iPod is important because it's simple. Like everybody, when the iPod Touch came out, they're like, "Oh yes, the iPod Touch. You can play games, all that kind of stuff." It's like, yeah, I've got my phone for that. But I just want something that can play music, and that's calm and it's the same, and it doesn't change. And that's what I love about my iPod. I know if I switch it on, I can only do a couple of things, because I only use it either to play solitaire, excuse me, sorry, I'm a bit sick, or to listen to music, and sometimes both. And that's what I love about it. It just keeps me calm. It's the same. It's simple. Doesn't change. And that's what I wanted to try and incorporate in this thing. Something simplistic yet high tech, yet still fun and interactive. And so it's part of the steering wheel, because it's on my steering wheel in my car, I've got controls to my CD player. And so I wanted it to have the same feel, because I love driving. And the one problem I do have with my car, strange enough, besides that I can't play my iPod, is that there's actually, like every other car basically on the road, there's two seats in the front. You've got your driver's seat and you've got your passenger seat. And for me, driving, I get so annoyed. Well, not annoyed, but I don't really enjoy having people sitting next to me in the car. I love having people in the car, but I don't necessarily always like having a person sitting next to me, because they take away my concentration from driving. And it's not from focusing from driving, it's the experience of driving. I love looking through my window and driving and just watching the world go by. I don't think when I drive. I just enjoy the experience. And every time it's a new experience, whether I've got people nearly hitting me from behind, or taxis cutting in front of me, or doing whatever, or just a lovely drive by the beachfront. It's still a brand new experience every time. And I love it. I just love driving. And so that's what I wanted to create with this, where it could be around with other people, but nobody's invading on anybody's space. And in particular with whoever's driving, you've got this whole view to yourself in this glass dome over the top of you, and you can just experience whatever it is that you're driving through, and wherever you're driving through. So that's what I wanted to showcase here. It's very freeing. It's got a lovely flow in it. It's friendly, and it's calming, and it's peaceful. And that's how I am generally when people get to know me. And so I created this car, as I've shown already. And internally, I wanted to have like a Jarvis type thing. Now, Jarvis, I mean from Iron Man in the Marvel Universe, where Jarvis is not Tony Stark's butler, but his AI helper. And what's it? He's always communicating with Tony Stark and Iron Man, and doing things for him and helping him out and stuff like that. And I wanted something like that for the car as well, so that you can interact with the car as well. It actually becomes an entity in itself, but not so much so that it can actually control the car and drive by itself, but something that you can interact with. So even if you are alone in the car and driving through, you're never actually alone, which links very well to the religious ideology of me saying that you're never alone. There's always somebody with you, even if you can't see them. There's somebody guiding you and helping you through life. And so that's what I wanted to showcase with that, and I thought I did that quite nicely, and with using the projections on the glasses for the passengers, and then also projections onto the screen or window all around the car for all the users to see. So something almost like Kit in Knight Rider, and definitely Jarvis from Iron Man, and how in Iron Man's helmet, whenever they show it in the movies, you've got that whole interior, almost holographic display. Something like that. And I thought that would be really cool, and really would showcase my ideology very well, and how you can search for information, comfort, whatever it is you want to do, you can do it all from within this car. So materials, excuse me, sorry about all the coughing. Materials for this car, the exterior is very hard and very rough, so I would definitely want hard, heavy metal, not like the band, heavy metal materials. So any kind of like titanium or heavy carbon alloy would definitely be a great way of creating it, because it's a heavy structure, and that would be the best way to represent its rigidity and also to show its strength, because I do have a lot of internal strength in a lot of the things that I've taken over the years, and just push through and just be like, nope, I'm not giving up. I'm going to get through this and I'm going to carry on. So that's what I think would work very well. For the more fragile areas and gentle areas would be like the cockpit area, where it would be glass and it would be more fragile, and that's more sensitive because that's getting closer to the core of who I am. But all the other areas would be strong and tough to show the exterior. Interior, it would definitely be soft leathers and suedes. I think that would be the best way to represent it. Both smooth, both gentle, both very comforting and pleasant to be in when you sit in on those materials. Same with the floor. It would be either wood paneling or it would be carpet, because then it's comfortable. It's something that it's something that's important to me. Like it's all part of my comfort zone and who I am, and internally that my very close friends and family and things know is that I'll do anything for anyone, and I'm always there to help, and I'm always there to make a laugh and make a joke. So that's the kind of stuff that I think I've showcased very well internally in my car. And then of course I'm always trying to keep up with technology, so the dashboard and the side arms of the chairs and stuff will be high tech. It'll have thrusters, as you can see there, and other gaming things. If you want to change from driving manually to actually driving as if it was a game, like playing PS4 game, you can do that as well. And so that would be very shiny and silver and sleek. It would be very similar to Apple design, because Apple is what I use for everything in my day-to-day life. It's become part of my ideologies, technology-wise, and so it would be the same kind of Apple styling. So it would be materials such as titanium and glass and that kind of stuff, but very thin, very chic, very very shiny, and very well done. Other than that, I don't think there's much else I can tell you about these two. I've got my mood board here as well, showcasing the things that have influenced me. As you can see, there's things like Pacific Rim on the colors and the style of the materials. There's Transformers, there's various cars and gaming cars. There's movies, there's music, there's the materials themselves of different styles of leather and suede. There's the seat styles, there's gaming, there's cars, there's music, and the style of like Beats headphones. I've got my own set of Beats headphones, and to me, I've always thought they've got such a chic style of headphone. They're actually very classy. I've got religion. I think everything is totally encompassed in this mood board, and well represents where the ideas came from to create my three images. What I don't have on here is actually, and a picture printed, unfortunately, is my brand name that I came up for the car. And the logo. And the logo is actually very simple. I can explain it to you. It's actually a disc. Goes around hollow in the center, but a 3D silver disc, and it's called Odyssey. And the reason I called it this is when I was younger, I was very into Greek mythology. I read all the Percy Jackson books, still love them, still have them. And I was always interested in Greek mythology, like I say, and the Greek gods, and like I loved Poseidon. I always thought he was super badass, super cool. And I knew about the story of Odysseus. And obviously with watching movies like Troy, his involvement through Hollywood in the Trojan War and stuff like that. And there's a story of the Odyssey, and it's his journeys in Greek mythology of Odysseus. And it got me thinking when I was trying to come up with names, and Odyssey stuck because we all go through a journey in life, and none of our journeys are the same. They're always different, and our ideologies and who we are change as we grow and how we go through life. Sorry, again. So at the start of our life, we don't always necessarily know a lot, and we have basic ideologies, and then we expand on these, we grow, things change, new people come into our lives, other people exit our lives, and so our lives are in a constant state of flux, and they're constantly changing, and our path and our journey is always changing in life. Nothing is set, and nothing happens twice, ever. Nothing in the same way. And so that's what I wanted to try showcase with this is it links well with doing a vehicle, because a vehicle gets you from point A to B on a journey. It helps you get somewhere when you're on a journey. And so I thought it links well with doing a vehicle, and in particular this futuristic space car thing. And then on top of that, it linked well with my ideology, and my ideology is, we're all on a journey, as I stated earlier. And so what I did is I created the circle, because a circle has no beginning and no end. It's a round entity. And with it, I do believe, and it's not something I've spoken about in depth at all in this project, is that we're living now, and this is our life, but when we die, we go to heaven, and then we do actually come back later in another time we choose, when we want to come back onto to earth and live another life, not a spiritual one, but a physical one, when we'll eventually go back to another spiritual one. So I know it's a very abstract concept, and it's very different to Catholic beliefs, and I am fully Catholic, but it is something that I believe, and I can't be very vocal about it in my church in particular. But that is something I believe, and so that's why I did the circle, because we never really die. It's just part of the journey. We came into being, but then yes, we've just carried on going. We don't die. We just carry on to a new phase of life, and we carry on to a new, completely different journey, and it's a new experience. And so that's why I thought it linked very well with the ideology. It does link in with the smoke and mirrors, that this whole thing of religion could be a complete illusion. I might be horribly wrong about my beliefs. I don't think I am. I think I'm on the ball, and I think everybody else who has some form of religion is as well, whether they're Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim. I think eventually, in the end, we're all actually worshipping the same God. I think all our religions are actually linked, and it's not just Catholicism is the one true religion. It's not like Game of Thrones, where you've got the old gods and the new, and no, the old gods are the real gods, or no, the new gods are the real gods. I think everybody ultimately worships one God, even though different religions. But separate issue. Let's not go there. So that's what I've done, and I think works well with this project, and I think it's a clever brand name. Then on top of that, just to finish, we had to look at who would be interested in buying these cars, or who we'd want to see driving these cars. And for me, I know he's not a real actual person, but the ideal person that, when I created this thing conceptually in my mind, would be Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I have read Guardians of the Galaxy comics, and I'm not just working off the movie with Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, even though I think he portrays him very well and is a very good representation of him. But Peter Quill is this whole, he can be serious when he wants to, especially in the comics. When he's a leader, and he has to be serious, and he has to take charge of what he's doing. But at the same time, he's still the jokester and the trickster, and he messes around, and he messes up at times, but he gets back up, and he's the likable guy that we know him to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And that's very much who I am, and that's the kind of person that I'd want to enjoy this car. I mean, considering it's got a huge music-orientated thing, where music can just come at you from all angles on the inside, and everybody can listen to whatever they want to and find meaning in it. I think it would be very important to him. I mean, as you see in the one scene in the movie, where he goes back when he's trying to escape the kiln, the prison that he's in, to go find his MP3 player. Yes, because it had emotional ties, because his mother gave it to him, but also because the music itself he absolutely loved. And so I think a person, whoever has interest in music, will take a great interest in this car that I've designed, and will actually get meaning out of it. So just expanding on that, sorry, I meant to say this earlier, but because I said it's got the Kit or Jarvis personality where it can talk to you, the car wouldn't actually have a key. It would actually have code words. So to get into the car, to unlock it, it would see you approaching via sensors on the outside, which linked to the self-awareness task that we did in class. And it would say a line from a song. Like, for example, it would be, some legends are told, some turn to dust or to gold. And then the person would have to say, but you'll remember me for centuries. Now that's a Fall Out Boy lyric that I really like, and I often have as a status on WhatsApp because I only use music lyrics as statuses and things like that. So it could be something like that, or another one would be "Through the flames and the fire." It could say, and then the person trying to get into the car would say, "I will go because I know, yes, I know that I'm not alone," and that's a script lyric, and that's actually from the song "Army of Angels," which is one of my all-time favorite songs because it's got amazing beat and amazing meaning in the lyrics, with that's in a song, which I think it's got great meaning to live by. But on top of that, it is a pop song that incorporates religion, and my religion in particular. It's called Army of Angels. Great song, love it. And it links with the ideology of never being alone. We're always being helped. And so I think it's brilliant, love it, all for it. So it would be something like that, and then obviously, of course, with that, there would be a voice monitoring on it, so the car would recognize your voice and say, "Oh, welcome whoever," and you could load whoever you wanted on as it is. So that's what I've come up with for it. I haven't done any sketches, like I said, of buildings and things, but I did come up with ideas. I'll see if I can try to get them into my process book in time. If not, I did come up with ideas of flowing through and having, once again, a very rigid exterior but very calm, peaceful interior with like pods where people could go and study in silence or in peace, but that they could block out the exterior and what happens inside. You can't see out if you don't want to. You can change it so that you can, and then also if you want to play music, whatever volume, it can't seep out to the rest of the people outside doing whatever they want to and stuff like that. So it would be very cool, very high tech, very modern and upbeat. So it would be somewhere that I would really want to go. But yeah, that's the project. That's what I've created. That's what I've done. I think I've explained it well, and got across to you guys what it is that I've done in this project. So last look at my car, and I hope you guys like it. Thanks, hey guys. Bye.